Alright, hey everyone, it's me, VA, and today I'm going to talk about something that I've had in my mind for a while. Now, I know I said I was going to talk about South Park and another series video, last month, but this month I decided I wanted to talk about something I've had on my mind, a discussion of sorts of something I've had in my mind for a long time. So, we're all familiar with sitcoms. Sitcoms are, specifically, shows with laugh tracks. You usually think of shows on Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, stuff like that. And there's been this long thing about black sitcoms versus white sitcoms. Now, if you don't know what black sitcom or white sitcoms are, most people, this is the generalized sort of thing, most people see white sitcoms as something like Friends or Seinfeld, but it's specifically Friends, because Friends is one of the most popular sitcoms, one of the most popular TV shows of all time. Now, when you think of black sitcoms, you usually think of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, stuff like that, or if you're talking about cartoons, you think of The Proud Family. But Fresh Prince, once again, is usually the top one because, once again, it's one of the most popular TV shows of all time, not just for black people, but for anybody. So I was watching this video today. It was, I'm not going to say who the YouTuber is or whatever, but it was one part that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it wasn't anything serious, but it was, they said lots of people, lots of black people like and watch Friends knowing that it was made specifically for white people. Now, that sentiment of a show is made for a specific audience, a specific race audience, has always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. In my opinion, no show should ever be associated or made specifically for one racial audience. No show, to me, should never be directed specifically towards white people. No show should never be specifically targeted towards black people. No show should never be targeted specifically towards Mexicans, Asians, whatever. I think shows should be a form of entertainment where everybody can enjoy something. Now, if you want to make your show exclusively starring black actors, white actors, that's cool. Asian actors, Mexican actors, that's cool, But your show, in my opinion, should never target a specific race and have comedy for that specific race or something like that. To me, that's very demoralizing in a way. To me, I don't know, in my opinion. But I think all shows should try to aim towards a general audience of everybody and should try to have comedy for everybody. Now, the reason I talked about that quote is because, in my opinion, there is no black and white sitcom. Let's take a show like SpongeBob. SpongeBob, if you look on IMDb, has no black voice actors in the main cast. There are no black voice actors in SpongeBob in the main cast. There have been black guest stars, but no black voice actors are in the main cast. Yet, black people still love SpongeBob. And why is that? They love it because of the comedy, because it entertains. They love it because of the characters, and they love it because of the wacky situations the characters are in. You don't go to SpongeBob to see racial drama or to see a specific race of people being represented, because it's a show about a sponge who lives under the sea with a starfish and a squid and a crab and a squirrel. You don't look for SpongeBob for racial stuff like that. You can tell me one black person who has voiced who is in the main cast who voices a character on SpongeBob. There are none. The main cast is all white people. Tom Kenny voices SpongeBob. Bill, whatever his last name is, it's so hard, voices Patrick. Clancy Brown voices Mr. Krabs. Roger Bumpaz voices Squidward. Mr. Lawrence, that's what he prefers to be called, voices Plankton. And I forget the names of the females who voices Sandy, I think it's Jill Taylor. Jill Taylor voices Sandy. Mary Jo Catlett voices Mrs. Puff. If you notice that all those people are white people, they aren't black people, but black people still watch SpongeBob because it's funny. They don't look for SpongeBob for racial stuff like that. Now, with something like Friends, it's very polarizing with black people. Some black people like Friends. I like Friends. It's not my favorite show in the world, but I like it. Now, some other black people don't like Friends, which is fine. And the main reason is that they don't like the comedy or they think it's corny. And I'll be honest, Friends is very, very corny. It was made in the 90s. A lot of 90s shows are very corny. Even something like Seinfeld is very corny at times. A lot of 90s shows are very corny. But a lot of black people don't like Friends because it's not diverse enough. And that's something I've never liked either, because a lot of shows aims for a specific audience. Even black shows aren't that diverse. Something like Martin isn't that diverse. It's all black. Yet people love it because of the entertainment value. I like Martin a little bit. I don't like it that much, but I like it. It's funny at times. But I like Friends too, even though it stars all white people. I don't care that it stars all white people. I like to watch Friends because it's funny to me. David Schwimmer, who plays Ross on the show, he has great physical talents. And back then, at least, he nailed a lot of the physical stunts he had to do. Matthew Perry, who played Chandler, he had a very good sarcastic tone to a lot of his line delivery. I like that. I like that character. I like that show because it put average situations. They put these people in average situations, but they kind of blew it up to an exaggerated degree, kind of like something like South Park. That's why I love South Park. But another sitcom I love that black people love a lot is Fresh Prince, and white people like Fresh Prince too. The reason people like Fresh Prince is because, they take these black people, who are often not represented a lot on TV. They put them in this nice setting. They're rich. They're very rich. They're in Los Angeles, and people love the situations that they get in. People love sometimes the stories that they tell. The episode with Will's father is one of the best episodes of any TV show ever. People hold it to high regard. But when most people people forget is that the last couple of seasons of Fresh Prince, whether you like the show or not, aren't that good. And Fresh Prince could get very corny at times. Most people don't remember that there was a little kid that was introduced in season, I think, 4 or 5, because the actress, the original Aunt Viv, was pregnant, who got pregnant at the time. And of course, there was a whole bunch of drama back, behind the scenes, and then she got kicked out and replaced with Daphne Maxwell Reid. But when that character was introduced, it was very aimed for sort of kids-ish. It kind of got to that kind of kiddie level. It was still adults. It was still a sitcom for everybody, but at the time it started to get a little corny. And even if you love the show, if you look at some of those season episodes, and specifically probably season 5 and 6, it definitely got corny. Now, like I said before, Friends could get very corny, especially in the early seasons and in the later seasons. But I still loved a lot of those. Loved a lot of those episodes in the middle seasons because they were very grounded and they had good stories. They had good characters that I liked, and the comedy was good. Same with Fresh Prince. The first 3 seasons, I loved the first 3 seasons because they told great stories. They had great characters. They had great comedy. Now, I'm not saying that the later seasons are terrible. Like the episode I mentioned earlier with Will's father, that was in season 4, I think, and that was people loved that episode. People still remember the end of the episode. It's famous. But black people specifically, some black people they think just because a sitcom stars the black people that it's superior to white sitcoms. Take a show like The Office. The Office primarily stars white people. Rand Wilson as Dwight Schrute. Steve Carell plays Michael Scott. John Krasinski is Jim Halpert. You only have 2 main black actors. You know, Craig Robinson and I forget the other guy's name who plays Stanley, and Craig Robinson plays Daryl. They're the only two black people who are consistently in the cast, and they don't appear in a lot of episodes. But black people still like The Office. And you know why they like The Office? They like The Office because of the comedy, because of the characters, because of the story, and because of the style of the show. They don't go to The Office to see racial diversity and all of that. They even had an episode making fun of racial diversity and stuff with the cars and stuff that they put on their foreheads. That's a funny episode. But the people who made The Office weren't making it for a specific audience. They weren't making it just for white people. Just like I'm pretty sure the people who made Fresh Prince weren't making it just for black people. The people who made Friends weren't making it just for white people. They were making it for all people. And that's what some people, black people specifically, have to understand, that is that just because black people watch a show like Friends doesn't mean that the show is made specifically for white people. In my opinion, I don't think Friends or Seinfeld or a show like that, those shows are made for a specific audience, at least a specific racial audience in mind. I think that all shows are made equal, you know, as a show for, you know, their racial whatever. But honestly, that's just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm 15. I don't know exactly what I'm talking about most of the time. I kind of rambled on in this video. But in my opinion, no show is made for a specific racial audience. I think every show should be made equally for black people, white people, Asians, Mexicans, whatever of the sort. All shows should be made equal with every racial group under the sun. So that's just my take on the subject. I would love to hear what you think on the subject, and I'll talk to you all later. Stay decent.